$76,000 left over on the total budget. Project 1, Project 2, and Project 3 still have money left over.
And what happens to that extra?
I'm sorry?
What happens to the extra money, 76,000?
We'll get with the city and garden and probably add some more water lines that need to be replaced.
What percentage of the water lines will still need to be completed when we're done with all three of these projects?
Well, the priority 2 project is complete now substantially, and its date of completion is about 3 months in front of us, so they completed it early. The last project, priority 3, is a very small project, and it'll probably be completed within about 120 days.
But once those three are done, my question is, how much more lines in the city need to be replaced?
I'd say somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 feet.
Oh, it's more now.
It's more now. Well, I'm talking about within the money.
Oh, I know, but he's talking about once this is all done.
Oh, once this is all done,
Yeah.
I'd say somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 million. Looking at all of the other lines, about that.
And how soon does that need to be done? I mean, obviously I think it should have been done when we did this, but
Well,
we're going to have to come up with that some kind of way.
yeah, what we have seen and what I've been told by Gordon is the problem that we have with the discoloration of water, and that's caused by old water pipes, cast iron, that collect a membrane in it, and it discolors the water. Also, your water pressure is considerably better everywhere in town as a result of the project that we install now. These other remaining lines, I know they're important to the people that live on those lines, but the vast majority of your problems have been resolved, which is discolored water and low pressure.
Yeah, I was under the understanding that when we were done, that we were doing everything except for the ones that were already new or replaced. Is that not right?
I'm sorry, sir. I have a problem here.
And the world we live in now makes it fun. Like, what's the approximate age of the pipes that won't be done when this is over? I was under the impression that this whole project was doing basically everything that was
Not already done.
hadn't been done in the last few years,
Yeah.
like
Most-
10 years or newer.
Most of the water pipes was installed, water lines was installed in the 1950s and 60s, a little in the 70s. Old water pipe using cast iron, unlined pipe. Cast iron, then a lot of places went to AC, asbestos cement, and that was outlawed. PVC pipe came into being in the early 60s with an AWWA certification in the mid-60s. Everyone's gone to PVC. It's stronger, it's flexible, it's corrosion resistant, it's virtually indestructible once it's buried. It's exposed to sunlight, UV rays, damage it, makes it break. But the other pipe is old pipe that's installed as subdivisions that the city developed, subdivision developed, and they would put the water lines in. There wasn't a lot of planning that went into it. The supervisor said, this is the line I want to put in. The city looked at it and said, no, we need it bigger, or that's okay. Most of the time they said, that's okay. So there wasn't a big network of water lines getting from your pressure source out to the city with fire plugs. It didn't exist. What we've done now is we've located corridors where major water lines are located to different parts of the city to ensure that you have loop and constant water pressure. Before you didn't have that. You had a
Bunch of deadheads.
yeah, there's a bunch of lines sticking out there that developers put in. There wasn't any regional planning done to it. Now you've got planning.
Let me ask this a different way then. When this project is finished, what's the percentage of pipes that would be over 10 years old in this city once this project's complete? And I understand you don't know exactly, but you got a rough idea.
I'd say probably about 30%. Just roughly looking at it.
I'll tell you,
We
big
replaced
part
a
of it.
lot of the major lines. And on priority one project, there's a lot of lines that we didn't think we had money to, and once we bid the project, we did a change order and increase it. And prior to bidding it, we added quite a few more lines, so when you look at the concept, when we applied for the initial funds in the application, we're installing probably nearly twice as much water pipe as we did in the original application.
But we thought we would be at 70%, I thought, of the original bid.
Yeah, well, we're already left over.
So when we get done with the priority three and we have that leftover amount, what is at that point the oldest that we have anywhere in town?
I was just allowing the city, the gardens, and
Like at that point, do we have any old cast iron lines left?
Yes, sir. What I'm gonna propose to Bill is that the corner of Meandering and, Roberts Cutoff, that we continue that 12-inch straight up to Ohio Garden. That way we can get that all taken care of there and redo that road. That's a, priority, you know, to get that road is falling apart and the water line is old there, so I need to, once again, that'll connect those two 12s together and just make it even more available for us to, transfer water where we need to.
The staff is developing a plan to address the remnant, particularly.
Yes, sir.
Where there's still cast iron.
that's the major loop connection. We initially had plans, the Fort Worth was going to redo the right-of-way routing on not Long Avenue, but Meandering Road that comes into Roberts Cutoff, and they were eternally slow. So we just, not knowing where the right-of-way was, we didn't want to put in the water line, then have to come back and tear it up.
Right.
So we plugged it at each end, and this would be the connection loop that would connect. It's not a long distance, it's pretty relatively short. Even after that, there'll still be money left over.
Okay.
And I depend on Gordon to tell me which cast iron lines and which neighborhood is giving the most problems. And that's what was designed in line.
Also,
So I think what we're trying to get at, and Gordon may have to get back with this, but if we think of before, 100% of the city line, water line, over the years, we've been replacing, 20 years ago, we were told 85% of them have been replaced, and that was incorrect, we know now. But looking at after we've done this, do we think we've replaced 50%, 60%, 70%? I think that's what council wants to sort of know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we'd have to do is actually count all the linear footage of water pipe and sizes in the city. And we have the linear footage on priority one, priority two, and priority three, and some left over. And then we could actually give a mathematical formula that would tell you what percentage of the water lines have been replaced and what percentage remain that are old cast iron.
Right.
I can do that relatively quick, within a week. That would be
Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
okay, sure.
Well, also, we need to know that, but we're gonna have to, I know we replaced line before we took this loan out, they're replacing so many feet per every year, but I did like to get this thing done, get this water situation correct.
I know, you have funds
This
coming up
project was supposed to do that.
every other year of the CDBG. Most of it goes to sewer, but it can also go to water, through the county. We've done several CDB projects here at the city that were water, and we've done some that were sewer. And that's generally, water in it around 100,000, 120,000.
about 160.
160, yeah. So that will continue every other year. It's a source of revenue for improving the water and or sewer.
I got just to characterize your comment, though, I think we have, quote, largely fixed the water problem in that the discoloration has went away. We had no negative test results. I don't know, it's been 8 months now or more. It's been a long time. So I just want to, I think we have largely corrected it, but there's still more of the smaller lines to take care of.
Yeah,